Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson and Andrew Bone. Isaiah Bond has committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Here with Andrew Bone to break it all down. Bone, Alabama keeps winning on the field and now pulling in a big one in Isaiah Bond.
Yeah, going into the state of Georgia to land another big target. I mean, this is a home run kid. I mean, this is one of the fastest players in the country. He won the Rivals fastest man challenge at the Rivals 5-star challenge back in June, and was committed to Florida for a while. And obviously with the coaching change there, decided to reopen his recruitment. And somebody asked me back in, I think it was October, is Alabama still interested in Isaiah Bond? And at the time he was pretty solid with the Gators. I mean, he didn't really have a reason to decommit. Obviously, they had some struggles on the field, but it really wasn't until Dan Mullen got on the hot seat, and everybody was talking about, he was probably going to get fired at the end of the season, that he started to reopen things and ended up taking a visit to Alabama. And I think the next day, Dan Mullen was fired by Florida, and he reopened his recruitment 2 days later. So Alabama was able to really benefit here because they continued that relationship. They weren't overbearing. They weren't just constantly hounding them, trying to get them to flip. I mean, he had basically told Alabama, hey, listen, I appreciate you recruiting me, but I'm solid with my commitment. Hey, that's fine. We're still going to be here. We're still going to recruit you. We're still interested. If anything happens, call us back. And that's basically what happened there. And, I think he respected that. He respected Alabama, and certainly, once things kind of went south down in Gainesville, took that visit back to Tuscaloosa, and Alabama really won over his recruitment. Now he ended up meeting with the Florida coaching staff, get the new Florida coaching staff, Billy Napier, and then obviously with Georgia still in the mix a little bit. They were a contender, but in the end, it was all Alabama, and really has been Alabama since that decommitment. So we weren't really surprised. But joins his teammate Jake Pope, who committed to Alabama in the summer. So 2 Alabama commitments from Buford High School, one of the top high school football programs, not only in the state of Georgia, but in the entire country.
When you get prospects like this of this caliber, it's a full court press. We always talk about the coaches that recruit an athlete like Isaiah Bond, but is it time to start hyping up Holman Wiggins? It seems like Holman Wiggins, what he's done with the wide receivers on the recruiting trail as well. I mean, how much did he play a role in landing a wide receiver? I would assume that it was a good deal.
Yeah, looking back at Isaiah Bond's recruitment early on, I remember talking to him around the time of the NFL draft, because Coach Saban talked to several of Alabama's key targets at draft night, first round of the NFL draft, and really reached out to a lot of DB targets. Talked to Jake Pope, talked to Earl Little Jr. and Damani Jackson and players like that, and we felt like he was being recruited. Isaiah Bond was being recruited as a defensive back, and Alabama had talked to him about being an athlete, but more so DB. Well, during the summer, when he ended up going out to the Rivals 5-star challenge, working out at wide receiver, having a lot of great highlights from that camp, winning the fastest man challenge, Alabama decided, this is a receiver. This is a guy that we want to target. This is a guy that we want to get in this class. So Holman Wiggins, also Charles Kelly. You got to give a shout out to Charles Kelly, who's the lead recruiter for Isaiah Bond in the area. So those 2 guys did a tremendous job recruiting him. And you look at Alabama's recent success at the wide receiver position, and it's almost not even recent. I mean, this is going on for at least a decade now. And it started obviously with Julio, and has gone to Devontae Smith winning the Heisman Trophy, and obviously Jamison Williams and John Mechie now, and all the first round draft picks. I mean, it's something that wide receivers want to be a part of it. It's something that really sticks out to them. And this is a guy who brings a lot of speed to the table. I mean, this is a sub 10.5 100 meter guy. I think he ran the 200 meter in 21.5. I mean, this is a blazing fast athlete that can certainly take it the distance from anywhere on the field. And I'm sure Alabama coaches are really excited about getting him on board today.
When we look at Isaiah Bond specifically, and what type of wide receiver he is, and some of the other wide receivers that Alabama has locked up, or guys that are also coming I mean, does he have the talent? I know we're super far out, and I'm not trying to give you some rat poison here, Bone, but like, does he have the talent to be potentially an impact player immediately? And do we know if he's going to graduate early and be an early enrollee?
Well, you know what? I'm actually not sure if he's going to be an early enrollee just yet. I don't think so. I don't think Buford High School allows their students to enroll early, so I'm pretty sure that's not. I'm pretty sure that's the case there. But in terms of what kind of impact can he have once he gets to Alabama, he's got the speed.
Mhm.
Obviously he needs to get there, needs to develop, needs to get stronger. Doesn't he can get faster, but he's pretty fast already. And obviously, Alabama's more than likely going to lose some speed on the outside. So there's going to be some opportunities there for some of these younger receivers to step up. Obviously, Alabama signed a great wide receiver class last year. Are those guys going to be able to step up after their first year and get on the field and make an impact, or are some of these freshmen freshmen for next year going to be able to come in and take their place, because they have recruited some serious speed in this recruiting class with Isaiah Bond, Kobe Prentice, um, obviously Aaron Anderson, another really fast guy. These are three of the most explosive wide receivers in the country, and certainly something that Alabama has really wanted to add more of in this recruiting class and on the field, and they've certainly hit a home run with the three receivers that they have. Of course, Amari Knee also a guy that can be considered a wide receiver or tight end. So you got to always kind of count him in when we're talking about these wide receivers, even though he's 6'4", 230 pounds, but he does run a 4.55 40. So you got a great wide receiver class. I think it's only going to get better. There's two more guys that they're really going after right now that I feel like they're going to have a chance to land at least one of the two with Kendrick Law and Shaz Preston, two kids out of Louisiana. And with Shaz Preston coming in for an official visit to Alabama this weekend, Kendrick Law has already taken his official, had an in-home visit or not an in-home visit, but Saban visited his high school on Monday. So those are two guys that Alabama is going to continue to focus on, and I think in the end they'll land one of them, and it's going to be an unbelievable wide receiver class.
Bone, before we let you go, and right now we're talking about Isaiah Bond, his recent commitment to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's kind of go over this list real quick. I know you're going to have your Tuesday recruiting show, so go to our YouTube channel, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Of course, go back to Bama Insider, go to Bone's recruiting board. We have all this detailed for you. Here's a list of the guys who are currently committed to Alabama's incredible class right now. Your early thoughts, you don't have to dive too much into it, but kind of at a glance, do you like the way that this class is coming together? Alabama, let's see if we can get it ranked number 2 on Rivals. I think some other places might have them number 1 at this point, but your kind of take on this class as a whole, as it's coming together 1 week away from National Signing Day.
Yeah, I'm interested to kind of see, with the new rankings coming out this week, if that potentially pushes Alabama to the top spot. Because going into the week, there were 5 Rivals 100 commitments. Now there's 9 Rivals 100 commitments. You had some big additions this week. Elijah Pritchett got a significant jump. Martin Eblack, Kobe Prentice, Aaron Anderson, all new additions in that Rivals 100. It's going to be an interesting week because there's several guys that are still very much in play for Alabama. Obviously, there's some guys in play for Georgia and play for Texas A&M. I think it's going to be one of those 3 schools that finishes the number 1 recruiting class. It all really kind of depends on who are they going to be able to close with over the course of the next week. And Alabama certainly a top contender for several of these guys. Can they potentially close with Damani Jackson, Shamar James, Curtis Perry, Earl Little Jr. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are out there that they have the potential to land. If they can close the deal with some of them, they also have the potential to end the early signing period as the number 1 recruiting class in the country yet again.
Here with Andrew Bone of BamaInsider.com as we close out. Here are the current recruiting rankings on Rivals.com. Currently, Georgia at the top, Alabama right behind the Georgia Bulldogs. But this was a video on Isaiah Bond, so definitely hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And we'll catch you inside the comment box or back at BamaInsider.com. For Andrew Bone and Kyle Henderson, this is a breaking recruiting update on BamaInsider.com.